Previously on Jason and Melissa Travel, we spent a jam-packed 24 hours in York. We toured the breathtaking York Minster with its colorful displays of stained glass and wandered the most well-preserved road from medieval times, the Shambles. Now we are on our way to visit our Scottish friends for a few days just outside of Glasgow, before officially entering the Highlands. Our time with Pete and Susie was incredible, and it was great to finally see them again. They spent the day playing tour guide and showed us some of the incredible history in southern Scotland. We toured two iconic monuments. The William Wallace Monument, which stands 67 meters tall above the fields where Scotland's national hero, William Wallace, led his troops to victory at the Battle of Stirling Bridge. Next up was the monument of one of Scotland's most famous heroes and king, Robert the Bruce. The monument sits up on top of a hill overlooking the location of one of his most famous battles, the Battle of Bannockburn. I did receive some of the most devastating news while visiting these two monuments though. Peter told me that although Wallace and Robert the Bruce lived during the same time, they never actually met one another. Needless to say, my history-loving soul was crushed. Mel Gibson may have created a really cool movie, but he is indeed full of shit. We capped our time with our friends in the picturesque seaside city of St. Andrews. We got to stand on the famous stone bridge of the Old Course of St. Andrews, which is believed to be the oldest golf course in the world. We also toured the beautiful ruins of St. Andrews Castle and Cathedral located within the city. On the way back to their house, we were treated to the mystical Kelpies, which stand 30 meters high and weigh 300 tons each. They are quite a sight to see day or night.
We have been in Scotland for a couple of days, but we spent some time with some new friends that we made just outside of Glasgow, and we are headed out on our first day of our road trip through the Scottish Highlands, which we are super excited about. Day one, baby. Today we are headed to Oban. You're true, Scott. Oh, Russell. I'm gonna miss your little snuggles.
On our way to our first stop in Oban, we kind of left from the area of Glasgow. We drove for about the last 30 minutes along Loch Lomond, which was really, really beautiful. You would never know that that is about 30 minutes outside of the big city of Glasgow. It was gorgeous. Now we're on the other side to the north end of Loch Lomond, and the mountains are getting bigger. This is a trip that I have always wanted to do. But we're being interrupted by the GPS. This is a trip that I have always wanted to do. I have always wanted to come into the Highlands of Scotland. So I am like beside myself. This is so incredibly beautiful. One of the things that we just figured out is that these roads keep getting narrower and windier, and Melissa, unfortunately, gets car sick really, really bad. So we had to switch, and now she's driving. So I think she's going to end up probably doing much of the driving through the Highlands of Scotland. Otherwise, she's not going to feel too good. Are you, Melissa? So we don't have a lot of time to stop and do a lot today. That's going to change on all the other days because we're trying to get to Oban because there is a certain Scotch whiskey distillery that I'm trying to make it to before their bar closes. Not going to be there in time to do a distillery tour, but hopefully we can make it there so that we can do a tasting. After a beautiful drive on narrow, winding roads, we had finally arrived at our first official Highland stop, Oban. Oban is a picturesque village right on the water with unbelievable views of the Scottish Highlands off in the distance. We only had a short time to explore, so we immediately walked down to the distillery, then wandered around exploring the shops before going to have a traditional dinner of fish and chips. We have made it to Oban. We got here just in time. We got here at about 3 o'clock, and the Oban Distillery, the bar, closes at 4. Like I said, we're not going to do a tour because we don't have enough time, but we are absolutely going to go in and do a tasting. So if there are any whiskey aficionados or just whiskey appreciators out there, you've definitely heard of Oban. This is one that I've really been looking forward to. A really good friend of mine from Memphis, Tennessee, introduced me to Oban years ago, and I cannot wait to give this a shot.
So once again, underneath each one, it'll say what you're drinking there, okay? I would recommend, again, starting this way, going along to the right, makes it a bit easier for you. All variety of different flavours, mainly sweetness and also a bit of fruitiness in there as well, okay?
Awesome, thank you very much. So as I mentioned before, we were a little pressed for time because we wanted to make it here so that we could come to the Oban Distillery on empty tummies because we didn't have time to really stop for lunch. So it was a great experience. I liked it. Melissa?
It was good. I'm not always a big fan of Scotch, but I'm learning to appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah, so I know that we're going to stop several places as we go through the Highlands, have some Scotch, well, some whiskey, because you have to. So I think we're going to wander around. We've got 24 hours here in Oban. We've got a couple cool places that we're going to stop that we want to show you before we head out tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be heading off to, yeah, I'm not going to tell you yet. We'll tell you tomorrow. So of course, when in the UK, you have to have fish and chips. And we don't know where the #1 fish and chips is in the UK, but we came across the third best, so it's almost as good. Good morning, it is the next day, and today I will tell you that we are now headed to an Airbnb, just actually a bed and breakfast just outside of Portree on the Isle of Skye. We have 3 days planned there. We're going to take you with us. We have a lot of really neat things that we want to go do. But first, we're still here in Oban this morning. We're going to go grab some breakfast, and I think we're going to run by one of the markets here at the stores and pick up a picnic lunch. Yesterday when we were driving here from Glasgow, there are so many beautiful places to pull out next to and sit next to the lakes or the lochs and just have a beautiful lunch. So I think that's what we're going to do. We just finished up a great breakfast at Roxy's Cafe, and Melissa has a box now.
Because that's how I roll. I'm not coming back here anytime soon, so I'm gonna get all the goodies to take away with me.
Yeah, they had lots of delicious things, so that's why we're leaving with a box after breakfast. So now we're gonna go pick up some stuff for a picnic lunch on the way. Hopefully we can find someplace beautiful. Of course, you know we're gonna show you. But we are now headed to the Isle of Skye, which I am crazy excited. I'm hoping that the weather holds out. I've been watching the weather pretty close. Today it's, I mean, you can see, it's a blue sky in Scotland, so I think we're getting pretty lucky. I think it's supposed to stay dry for a few days, so hopefully we can get all those hikes and all those things in before the rain returns, but I'm considering ourselves pretty lucky. We really enjoyed our time in Oban. 24 hours is definitely not enough. However, I did get to do what I really wanted to do, which was go to the Oban Distillery. So that was the big thing I wanted to do while we were there. We had the third best fish and chips, not the first. We had the third best fish and chips in the UK, which was really nice. Had great breakfast, did a lot of wandering around. But 24 hours is not enough. I would say you definitely need at least 2 or 3 days in Oban to really take in everything that there is there. So we have, I think it's about a 4-hour drive in between Oban and where we're going, just outside of Portree on Isle of Skye, to a small town called Burnasdale. So it's about a 4-hour drive, so a lot of today is just going to be driving, trying to get there, to get to all the big things that there are to do. And then we're going to have 3 days in the Isle of Skye, doing all the hikes, going to Old Manor Store, Kilt Rock, the fairy pools, all those things. So we are going to jump on all these windy roads and make our way to the Isle of Skye. One thing that we have rather enjoyed going through the UK is everywhere you stop, pretty much, grocery stores, petrol stations or gas stations, they have all these like just pre-made sandwiches, and they're actually really good. It's one of Melissa's favorite things to stop and grab.
Damn sandwich aisle.
I mean, I know in the States we have pre-made sandwiches too, but
I don't know, it's like another level here. It's like a sandwich buffet. I love it.
it is. There's like so many different kinds. So exciting. If you get excited about sandwiches just like we do, we might be able to be friends. We finally completed the 4-hour trip. We are now in a small town called Burnasdale, which is about 10 minutes outside of Portree. We are going to have an early night. We plan an early night on purpose, just because we've got a lot of hiking and stuff to do over the next few days, exploring the Isle of Skye, which we can't wait to do it ourselves. And also can't wait to show all of you what that looks like.
Look at this amazing weather that we have. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I know you can see it behind us. There's a blue sky, yes, and we're in the Highlands of Scotland. And I think we're supposed to, the weather's supposed to be great all week, they said, so I'm really looking forward to that. Coming up next, we start exploring the magnificent Isle of Skye. Take some amazing hikes to see some of the most unique geological landforms, and of course, eat one of Scotland's most famous foods, haggis. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the next adventure on the Isle of Skye.
Jason and Melissa Travel are on to the next one.
The neighbor's practicing his bagpipe, of course. Because, I mean, when you're after school, you got to practice your bagpipes.